Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, this is the old captain here. We got another video request, and this video request comes from Alex, and Alex writes, "To Aaron, I have a question regarding unions in the Western world. I was reading up on the history of unions, mostly the development of American unions, and found that the initial idea for unions was to create a fair working environment. The main points I found were to prevent owners of businesses from being cruel to their employees, to create a safe working environment where employers wouldn't be injured, and to pay the employees a reasonable wage. In exchange, it was expected of the employees that he would be loyal, work hard, and not cause problems. Fast forward about 50 years or so, and I have found that the union representatives tend to be overpaid, will be willing to help someone out only if they are paid, and usually protect workers who should be fired. I've seen firsthand, because of the unions, that the good workers end up being the ones who get screwed over. I would like to know what your opinion of unions is in our postmodern society." Thank you, Alex. In short, it's a love-hate relationship I have with unions. In general, what few unions do remain, I typically loathe, because the unions that remain are government unions and teachers unions. Those are you want to talk about, if you really want to free up the United States economy and really get some evil, scummy people out, you just end the teachers unions and the AFSCME and the SEIU and any public sector unions. What was the other one? Oh, I forget what it was. But in any case, because they're not about working hard. They are, as you surmised or noticed, they're a political organization. They don't care to work hard. They will they do anything to be lazy. They live up to the stereotype of lazy government worker. And they also, especially the teachers union, they don't give a fuck about the kids. I mean, one of the labor union guys in the teachers union, look him up, says, "When students pay union dues, then we'll care," or something like that. So I paraphrase it, but look it up. So these guys are scum. Then you have more of your traditional trade unions. You know, the Carpenters 107 and the IBEW, the electrical workers and all that, and the auto workers. Those I have a little bit more respect for, but even then, sometimes they totally take advantage of it. Like, a perfect example is, I listened to a lot of Bill Burr and Penn Jillette, and these guys, a lot of them will not perform in New York or New Jersey because Penn Jillette, they're a two-person act. Bill Burr's just a one-person act, and they don't need all these union workers at the theater. There's a theater workers union. But if Bill Burr goes to a place in Jersey, I think it is, he's got to pay for 8 union workers, no matter what. He's like, "No, I only need 1." No, you got to pay for 8. So this is the union. I mean, they'll typically the Democrats, but it's not always that. But typically your union Democrats or your Democratic union members will always argue about monopolies and cartels and big business and all. They screw over the little person. Well, they do the exact same thing. And then I also have absolutely no respect for the United Auto Workers Union, because they're in part the reason the auto union or the auto companies ended up going bankrupt. Oh, right, they didn't, because I ended up bailing those motherfuckers out with my tax money. But now, all that being said, those are probably some more of the prominent union people out there because they're more politically active and all that. So while it may seem, and even ideologically or philosophically, I'm against unions, on the other hand, I hate the fucking banker, big corporation scum too. I don't know why white-collar workers haven't unionized, or why credit analysts, people in banking, all these people who are like, they should form a cubicle slave union and just give the finger to these fucking cocksucker corporations. And what you'll find out, the overriding governing principle or observation I have about, am I pro-union, am I pro-business, is that assholes are all over the place. It doesn't matter. You're going to have assholes at the corporation. You're going to have assholes as workers. And it's just assholes screwing over assholes. If people were a little bit more intellectually honest and honorable, you would work hard employers would pay a fair wage and not do the political mind game bullshit. That's the worst. Forget pay. It's the you guys all know, you've worked for fucking baby boomer bosses. I'm waiting for the day for, Dilbert, Initech, Office Space for the People just to say, and I know why they don't do that, but it's because they're all fucking idiots with student loans and mortgages and car loans they can't afford, so they have to be their employer's bitch. But if we could get to the point that you don't borrow money, you don't afford a house, buy a house you can't afford, and get the credit cards and the car loans and all that, and you could get by on very little, I think more and more people could tell their employers to fuck off and go to hell. And that would, so it even though it's not a union, there still is the argument that you should be able to unionize. I think there are places that desperately need a union. I think banking we could definitely start there. But it's not as simple as fuck the union, they're a bunch of communist vermin as scum, and fuck corporations, they're a bunch of evil capitalist scum. Both of them are pretty much fucking scum. And I think they kind of actually do deserve each other a little bit. But yeah, the unions have, quote, gone too far, as they've all said. And the consequence we all pay is that jobs are shipped overseas, or a more literal economic reality or consequence or cost is that there's less Bill Burr, less services and goods produced for people in New Jersey. And if anyone does go there, they got to pay more. And what was it? I mean, another one I hate, because they hold America by the throat, because they are at a chokehold point. The bottom line, the Pacific container harbor working guys, the guys that what do they call it? Dock workers? I think the dock workers union. Those guys you'd like some shit fucking sold? Fuck you, I move my fucking joystick and play video games all day. I want 125 million. For some reason, they're all Italians. I watch too many movies from Scorsese. They're just scum. So, once again, the more accurate philosophy to understand the relationship between unions and big business is to be a misanthrope. Hate them all because they all deserve it. But if going forward, if you want to make some progress, I would typically say don't join a union. They usually fuck over their workers. They rely on the ignorance and naivete, the exact same ignorance and naivete that the federal government and state government rely on. Is that you never look at your paycheck to see how much they're taking out. So the unions take their union dues out, and usually just use it to employ themselves and fuck over everybody. I mean, they just are self-serving scum. Typically, not always though. So anyway. So there are good union workers out. Don't assume just because they're in a union they're all like the fucking teachers union. They hate the kids and they just want to work 9 months a year. There are good union workers out there. There are good unions. But yeah, for the most part, they're pretty much corrupted. Anyway, hope that answers a question or just maybe explains it a little more clearly. Toodles.